Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. As I adjust my mic, bring it a little higher. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Much love to you. Shouts out to you, no matter where you are, wherever you may be. I got to do a little house chores here. Try to adjust the camera just a little bit. Hope everybody can hear me. Hope everybody's having a good night, because we're doing this live, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about the New Orleans Saints on this edition. We're going to be talking about the national media and Saints fans not buying into the New Orleans Saints. We're going to be getting into that, and also we're going to be reading your questions and comments. And, we really do appreciate you all being here. Shouts out to those in the chat. Shouts out to those listening, no matter where you are, wherever you may be. It's very, very simple. We are the most interactive podcast that covers Saints football, in my opinion. And it's very simple. All you have to do is put those comments in the chat. Hey, what's going on? It's TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And we're about to do what it do, baby. You probably have something to say about the black and gold that's burning hard in your soul. Take those fingers, give them the working. Put them comments in the chat.
Put those comments, put them in the chat.
All you got to do is go ahead and put them things in the chat.
I want to hear what you got to say.
I want to hear from you.
Talk to me and not talk back.
Oh, you ain't got to worry about it. All you got to do is talk to me. I talk back to you now.
Put those comments, put them in the chat.
All you got to do is put them comments in the chat.
I want to hear what you got to say.
I want to hear from you.
Talk to me and not talk back.
Talk to me. I guarantee you, I'm going to talk right back to you.
Nice.
That's right. All you have to do is put those comments in the chat. Shouts out to all of the people that's watching this right now live. But of course, everybody can't make it, right? Everybody can't make it live. So with that being said, shouts out to them after show boys.
Shouts out to them after show boys. Shouts out to them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys.
Shouts out to all the after show boys, after show girls out there. And I did this for my mom. The next one. I did this for my mom. She thought that it was necessary for us to have a like and subscribe song. And I think I agree, because we do so many episodes here on the State of the Saints podcast, but for some apparent reason, people ain't hitting the like button and the subscribe button the way that they should, man. I mean, what do we got to do? I guess we got to make a hit.
If you watching on your screen and you liking what you see, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. If you are passing by, this your very first time, hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Like and subscribe. Oh, I think they like me. Like and subscribe. Oh, I think they like me. If you watching on your screen and you liking what you see, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit subscribe button.
yes, all you got to do is hit that like and subscribe. But let's go ahead and get into it. Man. Let's talk a little bit about our favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. And people aren't buying the New Orleans Saints in 2024. Despite what we have been hearing coming out of off airline, out there in Metairie, it's tough. It's tough out here in these New Orleans streets, man, because nobody it seems to be buying what the New Orleans Saints are indeed selling, man. And quite honestly, all of this kind of comes from me checking out my guy, Matt Moscona's After Further Review. And on After Further Review, he had a guest on his show. He's a CBS sports writer, and his name is Cody Benjamin. And Matt Moscona clearly asked Cody, what do you think about the New Orleans Saints in 2024? And this is what he said. This is from After Further Review. And I encourage everybody to check out this interview in its entirety. Check it out.
When you look at the NFL landscape, sometimes, oftentimes every offseason, it's pretty easy to pick out, the obvious contenders, the teams who have really invested entirely in kind of resetting their roster, their coaching staff. To me, the Saints, they just fall squarely in, I don't want to say stuck in mud, but just kind of stuck in kind of this standstill. I think that, even the biggest Saints fans, I think, would admit that this team they haven't exactly run to a rebuild, even with the coaching transition, from Sean Payton to Dennis Allen. And I think you see that on the roster. I think that, Derek Carr is kind of the epitome of kind of that middle of the road quarterback. And, there's still some big names on this roster, but in this division, which is, the Buccaneers have won it the last few years, but it always feels like it's pretty wide open, and not necessarily because it's loaded with contenders. And so I know it doesn't sound very inspiring. I just see the Saints as kind of stagnant a little bit.
So there you have it. Cody don't believe in the Saints, feel like the Saints are kind of just going through the motions, kind of echoing the sentiments of other Saints fans. And I don't know, man. I would be hypocritical if I came on here to defend this New Orleans Saints team. The only thing I can honestly say is that it's a new season. And every team is 0-0 at this point. No matter if you are the worst team in the league or you were the best team in the league, everybody has Super Bowl aspirations right now. And you don't know what a team is going to look like until they play the game. But we all know the truth. We know the truth, Who Dat Nation. We know the truth, sports fans. We know the reason why Cody Benjamin, as Slim South say, he kind of looked like Pee Wee Herman. Regardless, we know why Cody is not picking the New Orleans Saints. And it's because of Dennis Allen. And it's because of Derek Carr. All right. That's the reason why. Nobody is buying Derek Carr. Nobody's buying Dennis Allen. As a head coach, Dennis Allen is ranked as the worst head coach in all of football. And that is not me saying this. That is according to analytics, because we all know about the rankings that they did at the end of the season last year. And Dennis Allen was ranked at I won't say the very bottom, but he was down there. And the only coaches that were ranked below him no longer have a job. They no longer have a job, and they are looking into classifieds, or they are somebody's coordinator now as we speak. If Dennis Allen wants everybody to kind of get on board, they got to start winning football games. All right. All this fake bravado stuff that they trying to sell. I mean, to a certain extent, you still got some people on here that want you to believe, despite the fact that there's really nothing to believe in as of right now, besides the fact of you just having hope and optimism of the team. And, that really bothers me with some of these Saints fans out here. Like, we have to pretend and be stupid, or pretend like we didn't see like the last couple of seasons where the team fumbled all over themselves. And we got to feel like our love and loyalty to the team is conjoined with the fact that we believe they can win, despite the fact that we don't really truly believe that they're going to win the way that we want them to win. But you're always going to have those people out there, and you're always going to have those people that want to question other Saints fans when they think logically about a football team. Look, I tell people all the time, I'm a diehard Saints fan. I love this football team, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you to kick it. And, I lost a lot of followers, and a lot of people don't really rock with the State of the Saints podcast because I ain't blowing smoke up people's ass. And I am fine with that. I do not care. I have conceded that I am an acquired taste. And I love that because anybody that's rocking with me, anybody that's rocking with the State of the Saints, that means that they're rocking with me because of me. Not because of what I'm saying or they like what I'm talking about to a certain extent, because I'm pretty sure if you've been here for a while, you don't agree with everything that I say. But I appreciate you for being around and respecting my opinions on the matter. So, all in all, this is a new year. It's 2024. But you shouldn't expect for anybody to be picking the Saints to win anything. Because deep down inside, other than you are a huge Saints fan and you just want to see this team succeed, what evidence do you have that the Saints have what it takes to go all the way based on your feelings over the last couple of seasons? Now, once again, you got to play the games, and teams get better every single year. But there are question marks surrounding this team, and yes, I am going to call them out. You have an aging defense led by a 30-plus-year-old defensive end in Cameron Jordan, a 30-plus-year-old linebacker in Demario Davis, a 30-plus-year-old safety in Tyrann Mathieu. You got Chase Young, who's coming off a neck surgery. You got Tano Passanio, who has a torn Achilles. You got Peyton Turner, who we still putting the APB out for him. We wondering where he at. I mean, smoke signals are everywhere right now. I mean, a flare gun is in the air, trying to figure out who he is. Isaiah Foskey, his motor is running cold. He's looking about as soft as cottonelle tissue, according to Dennis Allen. I mean, Dennis Allen is saying that without saying it. I mean, I'm just being honest. When a coach, look, I've been around football for a minute. When a coach is saying that I just wish he can turn it up, that's not what you want to hear. When you hear a player need to turn it down, I'll give you an example. Years back, the Saints drafted in the first round safety Kenny Vaccaro. And Kenny Vaccaro came into training camp like looking for violence, wanting all the smoke. Like, I want to say that Pierre Thomas was there at the time, and he was saying that they had to pull old rookie to the side, man, because he was going, excuse my French, balls to the wall. And they were like, man, whoa, man, like, hey, calm down. But that's what you want to hear. You want to hear that guys need to be calmed down, not telling people, oh, you got to rev it up a little bit. And he talked about him wanting to be right. Now, I like Isaiah Foskey. He has really good upside, and I think that their talent is there. But I'm very, very skeptical of, is this guy going to be a part of this team, and is he going to be a true player years down the line? Like, I see it in Brian Brzee. I see it. You see it in Brian Brzee. You see the talent. You see the motor. You see the energy. You got to believe that he's going to build on what he did in his rookie season. But when you start looking at Isaiah Foskey and they're questioning his motor run, how hot his motor runs, I don't know about that. So those are the question marks. Then offensively, I mean, you got a new offensive coordinator, which all of us are excited about. The first time the Saints changed their offense in almost 20 years. Everybody is saying a bunch of amazing things about Clint Kubiak. But to me, Clint Kubiak is not the head coach. And what happens when you play against a team that can neutralize what you're doing offensively? And yes, you have a coach that is really good at calling defensive games. But when you go up against an elite coach like an Andy Reid, when you go up against a Sean Payton, when you go up against some of these coaches that have won in a league, that have won Super Bowls, even if you're not the biggest Mike McCarthy fan, he still won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers, and he won a lot of football games with the Dallas Cowboys. Even though they don't have anything to show for it, he still won a lot of games. And it's going to come down to the battle of wits, rather. Do you have what it takes to deliver the death blow? And I question that when it comes to Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen, to me, And you get this from most defensive coaches. They're conservative as hell. Like they aren't trying to push the issue. They aren't aggressive. And in the end, that comes back and bite them in the behind. It's rather they got a lead and they're trying to hold on to it. So they play super conservative, or they tell their offense to become super conservative, running the ball, try to escape out of there before, the bottom drops out. And I cannot get over the fact that you apologize to Arthur Smith. I can't. He's talking about that ain't what we do here and all that kind of stuff. Like, I just feel like, to me, even though he was probably looking at it from a character thing, that shows signs of weakness. It's almost like, let's all be friends. And we all know it's F the Falcons all day, all night. And I'm pretty sure they feel the same way about the Saints. So why in the world are you apologizing to a guy who got fired later on that day? They ain't even wait for the next day. They fired him that evening, right? I mean, it was quick, fast, and in a hurry. That team already knew that boy was on his way out, and you're apologizing to him. That shows weakness. That shows softness, and that's not what you want to see. So my question is, does Dennis Allen have what it takes to put the foot on somebody's head? And I don't know. Seemed like he's a coach that, ain't nothing wrong with trying to be a player's coach and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, bruh, we all know, for better or for worse, like him at this stage or not, Sean Payton didn't give a damn. He didn't care about what anybody thought. He was trying to run up the score. He was trying to be as disrespectful as you can possibly be. He was trying to put 100 points on them boys. And that's what we loved about him, because his energy matched the city. New Orleans is unapologetic. It is unapologetically New Orleans. What you see is what you get. New Orleans don't fake for anybody. It's not phony. Saints fans are not phony, not fake. We're going to tell you what we think about you and don't care. And that is why Sean Payton, to me, was so successful. I mean, on top of the fact that he gave the team more success than they ever had. Other than that, he stayed around because he matched the intensity, he matched the energy. He read the room. Dennis Allen is just trying to be everybody's friend. And I don't think that's a good look. Like, I mean, I want to see some energy. And I'm starting to see a little bit, but I got to question it. Is this energy that I'm seeing, is it genuine, or is it somebody that's playing a part, playing a role here? Like, oh, I got to look in the mirror and I got to really turn it up. I got to rev it up. Is this something that is going to be sustainable? I don't know. I mean, because you've been pretty laid back throughout the entire time you've been a head coach, and I get it. Some guys are not rah-rah guys. Some guys aren't those type of coaches that's going to be all up in your face. I get it. But I do feel like there's something that head coaches need. And you got to be a shark. Like, you can't pretend to be a shark. You ever seen, like, those people at the beach and they go underneath the water and they have, like, this fin, like, little backpack on, and they swim next to somebody so they can be like, shark. And then they pop up like, ha, 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 you thought I was a shark. I'm questioning the shark inside of Dennis Allen. And I think a lot of people, the reason they aren't buying the New Orleans Saints is because they're questioning, does he have that shark-like mentality? Yeah, you can coach some defense, but once again, do you have what it takes to give a Mortal Kombat fatality to the opposition? That remains to be seen. But once again, everybody is 0-0. Everybody has a chance to make the Super Bowl. And we know that teams get better every single year. So will this be the Saints' year? We'll see. But let me go ahead and read some of your comments, and we'll go from there. But I forgot, man. I forgot. There's a new segment. There's a new segment that I want to introduce to the show here. Normally I don't do this. I've been saying this, but I think that it's necessary for me to make a segment out of this. I've been reading comments, right? I've been reading comments of people, and shouts out to the people that's in the comment section. And mostly I'm doing it because I want to give shouts out to the after show boys, after show girls out there. Just want to, give them, some feedback as well. But I coming across a lot of people out there that I must have really touched the nerve a couple episodes back. There's this old saying that says, hit dogs holler. My grandfather, who is a minister, he normally would say, if he preaches on chicken thieves, the only person that's going to get mad is the chicken thief. If he start preaching on liars, the only person that's going to get mad is a liar. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce this new segment called Clown of the Day. And our clown of the day, let me turn it down a little bit. Clown of the day goes to Mr. Corey White, 6409. He writes to me, he says, this is a grown man, by the way. He a grown man, hiding out in the chat. Oh my God, A-Bear, this, A-Bear, that. Laughing my behind off, you acting like it's you. He don't got a problem with Cam and DeMario, or he's advocating for BLM. And I'm sure he knows this because he knows their character. And that's why he thinks so highly of them. But you won't address that because it just so happened to be another black person being criticized and automatically assuming racism. They need to have more black representation in WWL. So racism in favor of blacks to be hired over others. LOL. I've seen it all. Now, once again, clown of the day goes to Mr. Corey White, 6409. All right. And hopefully the music wasn't too loud that y'all didn't hear me, that y'all heard me. But Corey White, 6409. Now, I went back and forth with this brother. Probably not a brother, but you don't have to be white to be my brother. I mean, black to be my brother, I should say. But I encouraged this dude to call into the show. I told him, I said I was going to do a show tonight. You can call in. His response was, well, I said what I already needed to be said, and you just trying to use me. Dude, first off, the only Corey White that I know of was that cornerback that was slaw a couple of years back for the Saints that came from Sanford, if I'm not mistaken. That's the only Corey White that I recognize. You, my friend, I have made relevant because I am talking to you right now. Once again, there's this old saying, hit dogs holler. And one thing that bothers me about these clowns that hide out in the trap, not the fact that they don't have the cojones to call the show because they know they would get eviscerated in front of a live studio audience, but it's because they misinterpret my words, they screw it up, and they don't really listen to the entire podcast. They don't listen to everything that I say. If you did, you would have known that I already acknowledged that the fact that I don't feel like Bobby Hebert is a racist. I just said that even though if you aren't a racist, that doesn't mean you don't say anything racial. And I also said that you need representation at WWL, number one, because it's been 101 years and I haven't seen a black broadcaster. That's number one. And number two, you need representation because you have to teach people certain things. Like you need diversity in workplaces and in all these different spaces. You need it because how in the world can we create change in the world if we don't know how to talk to each other? If we don't know what's offensive to one particular culture or another? See, the fact is, people want you to shut up and drivel, or in this case, shut up and podcast. But guess what? I will not. And the fact that I know that I'm pissing off a lot of you rednecks that's out there, yes, I just said that are just upset at the fact that somebody like me, a black man, will get on the show and call out what it seemed, which was a racial comment that could be looked at as a racial comment, like makes me want to do it even better. It makes me want to do it even more, I should say. So I will. And you can always do something about it. You can do something about it. It's called not watch the podcast. That's what you can do. You can not watch the podcast. But I get it. Your boy is talented. So I would want to watch me too. But at the same time, don't hate from the sidelines. We can open up the phone lines and you can have your forum and I can cook your ass like my wife just did that steak that I'm about to eat when this show is all said and done. But Corey White, 6409, you, sir, are the inaugural clown of the day. I salute you, my friend. I salute you. But back to the comments. Jerry says, TJ, I remember a picture of Drew Brees telling Matt Ryan, get your out off my field. Exactly, man. The disrespect. I loved it. Scott says, hi, TJ. What's going on, Scott? Slim is laughing. We got Charlie Dog, he laughing. Who it's going to be? Well, we already said it, man. Shouts out to Corey White. Let's see. LMAO, I just seen bro in another live. Yeah, well, tell him come over here, man. We got plenty of time. I'll open up the phone line for him so I can cook him on the air. Especially like when you misinterpret my words. I don't even think he misinterpreted my words. I just really think he's a moron. Let's see. I agree, TJ. The softness from DA is annoying as hell. I want that Nick Sirianni hate Chiefs fans. I don't want to hear you anymore. See y'all type of energy from my head coach. Let's see. And down the stretch, they come. Probably Big Q live. Yeah, he probably somewhere hating on Big Q somewhere. Man, y'all talking about Bobby Gabriel. You talking about Bobby. Like I said. Like, man, he said Bobby A. Bet is. Bobby A. Bet is. Like, I haven't done, like, honestly, I have done 1,400 episodes of the State of the Saints podcast. And tell me how many episodes have I talked about the canon? And like I said, man, look, I like the canon. I like them. But don't make it seem like I made this podcast on the back of the Cajun canon here. Like, come on now. Man, you been on one lately. Look, Jeffrey, I told y'all, man, we turning it up. We turn it up. Timothy J. Jones is turning it up. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of the disrespect. I'm tired of the people that's afraid to call out a spade. And honestly, I ain't sugarcoating no more. I'm not sugarcoating anymore. I understand my position. I embraced it. I have embraced it. I'm not saying that I'm trying to disrespect anybody. I ain't about the hot takes. What you see is who I am. But I will take no disrespect. But I'm gonna call these clowns out. We gonna call them out here on the State of the Saints podcast. We gonna call them out. We gonna turn up on them. Because your boy, man, I don't like the disrespect I've been getting lately. I don't like the disrespect, and I anything I do, I try to do to the best of my ability. And I cannot stand people that hide out like the cowards they are because they ain't got the cojones to call in or address it head on. They rather hide out in the chat and they try to use the excuse like I gotta make a show off you. Like, man, please, like, who is you? Nobody. Corey White, 649, where you at? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Because that's what they do. Throw the brick and hide their hand. Oh, damn, the list of G. If I was a Saints fan, I would watch me too. Exactly. That's the way I feel about it. Straight up. I know what I bring to the table. Hey, TJ, you should put an EP out with his singles After Show Boys. Derek, look, hey, man, I didn't put together maybe 16, 17. Actually, you go on SoundCloud, you can type in State of the Saints Greatest Hits, and they got all the songs and stuff like that I made, for the exception of the last few that I made. I haven't added that to there, but all the songs that I have put together and produced and played, it's available on SoundCloud. Hell, big Q roast Bobby too. So what? He going do? LOL. DA ain't got no nuts. He just like Coach Klein off the water boy. Look, I don't know if I believe. Look, you can't be a head coach and not have a certain level of bravery. I feel like he is tough, but I do think that he's a little bit more passive aggressive than I would like for a head coach as a leader. You know, sometimes guys want to see you. So guys want to see you in the forefront, handling and standing on business. And I don't know, man. That conservative approach and trying to be everybody's friend ain't working for me. Lattimore should sue him and the station for allowing that type of defamation on their platform. Well, look, I already said it, and I'm going to continue to say it. You know, nothing's going to happen because a lot of people in Louisiana think the way that he does. Look, it's very simple. If I'm not talking about you, I'm not talking about you. The only people that I have seen take shots at me are the people that I'm talking about. So nothing is going to happen. You know, nothing's going to happen because of that. Like I've heard like Christian Garrett, you know, I've heard Christian Garrett like go at CD Deuce. You know, I think it was around the time of the contract negotiation. And he just started talking about how the dude like writes like rap songs and how he like acts like a thug. And what's that got to do with football? You can say, oh man, you know, he's dealing with a contract situation. Like we hear opinionated radio all the time. But to call this man a thug, like you don't know this dude. And you know, I don't know, man. It's a lot of stuff that be going down. You know what I'm saying? But nothing is really going to happen. And like I said, man, I got respect for WWL. I do. I do. I got respect for the people that work there. I don't think that everybody, you know, shares like certain views and all that kind of stuff. But I just think that, you know, sometimes, you know, you can't be saying this stuff. But a lot of this stuff, you know, slides through the cracks because a lot of people feel that way. The Saints will surprise a lot of people this year. I think the new OC will pay mad dividends this season. Well, I agree with you. I agree that they might be better than a lot of people anticipate, including myself. But we got to see. You know, that's why they play the game. Who Talking Reckless says Cartel. Saints news owners, whole album greatest hits. Cartel Corey White 649 set this all off. Yeah, man, we got a new segment on the show called Clown of the Day, right? I mean, so, you know, every now and then I look at the comments. Shouts out to the after show boys, after show girls out there. And every now and then, you know, you got some clowns out there that's always got something to say. So just want to give them the respect, you know, that they deserve for being the absolute clowns that they are and the cowards that they are. You know, I think that they want to matter, you know, so I just want to give them the platform to matter. Hopefully they'll call in so they can actually matter. What you think about Jake Hayner and Spencer Rattler battling it out for number 2 competition at training camp? Well, Chris, I think that is a healthy competition. 2 young guys around the same age. You got to say it's an equal playing field right now because although Jake Hayner has 1 year of experience over Spencer Rattler as a professional, it's still a new offense. It's still a new offense, and both guys are trying to learn it. So should be good. You know, I'm not expecting much from Spencer Rattler in year 1. You know, I expect some growing pains. It's the NFL. Speed of the game, it's a learning curve. Jake Hayner, I expect some things out of him. I think that maybe one advantage he has is he kind of understands the speed of the game, and he knows how to prepare and strategize when, you know, games take place. He kind of has that advantage over Spencer Rattler. But other than that, I mean, they both have to learn the same playbook. They both have to earn the same play calls, and they both are fighting for that number 2 spot. So let the best man win. I like both guys. I like them both. I like Jake Hayner. I think that he's smart. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Jake Hayner's career, once it's all said and done, that he's not a head coach somewhere and a very successful one. Like he's that good. I think very highly of Jake Hayner. I think we start grooming a linebacker to replace Demario Davis. Hey, that could be Willie Gay. You know, that could be Willie Gay. I mean, Willie Gay, he is in his 5th season. I mean, he has 2 Super Bowl championships under his belt. You know, probably would be more of an incentive because he's from Mississippi. Pretty sure he grew up liking the Saints. So this might be a plus for him, you know, and if he can actually kind of slide in and all the things that I seen out of Willie Gay, I mean, it tells me that he can be a really solid linebacker. Honestly, Mike Detillier was the only reason I listened to. He is very knowledgeable about the game. Bobby just basing stuff on emotions. I'm gonna tell you something about Mike Detillier. One of my favorite people in the entire world, like hands down. Mike Detillier, how he is on the air is how he is behind the scenes. Like every time I've had a privilege to interview Mike Detillier, we always end up talking 30 minutes to an hour after we record. And he's such a humble guy, like he's such a humble person, and man, such a likable person. So I get pleasure out of interviewing him and talking to him and behind the scenes, because that way you get to like the real nuggets and you get a little bit of who people are. Steve Weiss is another person, very encouraging, very motivational to me. Like, man, great people. But Mike Detillier is Mike Detillier is one of my favorite people to talk to. TJ keeps it real, and I appreciate it. Ghostface, thank you for that. I appreciate that. All we know, some Southerners are like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some Southerners are like that. But you got a lot that aren't. I got to make sure I say that, because some people, they probably then ran off, then finish, watching the rest of the show, and they'll probably say, well, he talking about white people on here. Like, no, I'm talking about those individuals that got that racism in their heart, that bigotry in their heart. If you don't have that, then I'm not talking about you. I never got into it with anybody or had an issue with anybody that didn't have a problem with what I said, unless I'm hitting some toes. Sorry, not sorry. CJ Gardner was for sure the culture for y'all. He's a solid player. He's definitely a solid player. A cool dude too. Like, these dudes just want to get paid. And I'm sick of that. I'm sick of these organizations. Yes, I'm about to say this. I'm sick of these organizations throwing these dudes under the bus. How is it that these organizations be looking like crap year after year after year after year, and it's always the players' fault when they start asking for money, especially when said player is the bright spot of the team? The energy level that CJ Gardner-Johnson came with, the confidence that defense had, the swag that it had, kind of lost a little bit of his luster when that dude walked out the door. And yeah, the man probably was getting upset and, like, man, y'all should pay me if he flying around the field, because we all know, if you mess yourself up to a point where you can't play anymore, what you gonna do then? Yeah, they'll probably bring you out there during a halftime show, and so everybody can remember, oh yeah, I remember that dude. He was a dog for us. But are those compliments feeding my family? Are those compliments putting a roof over my head? Are those compliments giving me generational wealth that my kids' kids can be able to live off me? Hell no. So I'm always going to side with the players, because we all know that the organizations have the power to change the narrative, because they got these reporters out here that want to be in their good graces, and they're going to continue to put out those hit pieces when necessary, because they want the exclusive. But we got to stop looking at this like it's just the players' fault. Now, sometimes, like, the players, they not doing what they need to do, but when your team missing the playoffs, when you got a coach that people aren't really believing in wholeheartedly, just kind of like, man, it's my job to come here and play football. You can buy and all that. Of course, that'll frustrate you. And I also feel like we hold these players to a certain standard we wouldn't hold our damn self to. If somebody disrespect us at work, it can be like something like walking past them and not saying nothing to them, and we ready to walk out the door and give our resignation. But everybody else, like, they got to be presidential with it, as if these guys aren't actual human beings that go through emotions like you, that deal with situations like you. And hell, when the year is up and it's time for your evaluation, you want your damn raise, don't you? I would imagine so. I would imagine that you would want your raise. So I don't see any different besides the fact that they make way more money than we do. They make way more money than we do. So that's the reason why we feel like, oh man, you need to shut up. You need to grin and bear it. You need to deal with it. Shut up. Man, please. How many times are we ready to walk to our boss's office when the air conditioner at 65 and we need it at 70 because it's too damn cold? Little light stuff that we try to go to the manager about. But this dude right here, busting his ass, one play away from possible paralysis. And he need to shut up because, he making millions of dollars in money that we will never see. Well, he plays in a sport that generates billions upon billions of dollars every single year. So I want some of that. If you work at Walmart is worth almost $1 trillion. And you know that. And because you know that, it gives you the incentive to say, I want some more damn money. I know y'all got it. So what's the difference between you feeling that way and a football player? So I don't see the difference. I do not see the difference. We be pocket watching. And because we don't have the pockets like they do, we automatically just feel like they just need to be happy. But we all know certain jobs give you certain salaries, right? If I am a lawyer, I expect to be in this tax bracket right here. If I'm a school teacher, I expect to be in this tax bracket right here. If I decide to be a school teacher, I can't get mad that I'm not making lawyer money. That's just not it. Jermaine says, facts, TJ, always keep it 100. We try to keep it 100, and we definitely going to be keeping it 100 up in here tonight. Says, I just want to win a division. Tired of all these media people hating on the Saints. I don't know if they're hating on the Saints. I know, Chris, you may not want to hear that. But what have they done over the last couple of years for us to like even us as fans don't wholeheartedly believe in this team like we once did? So what do you expect from someone that doesn't even, and I'm sorry to all my Peter and dog lovers out there, this is just a figure of speech, a dog in a fight? What do you expect for them to feel? They looking like, man, this team make playoffs. Man, Dennis Allen ain't no good coach. Like, this is all stuff that we saying. But I guess it's like, it's one thing for me to talk about my sister, but you ain't talking about my sister. It's like, you talk to your homeboy or something like that. Man, my sister, man, my brother getting on my nerves, man. Hey, you know what, bro? I ain't gonna lie to you, man. They show was doing this. Hey, bro. Hey. Right? That's how we feel. It's one thing for us to talk about our family member, but we can't have you talking about it. It kind of strike a nerve. But can you blame them? Is what I'm asking. Can you blame them? I can't. I'm not going to blame them. Because a part of me feel like this team is not going to be very good either. I want them to be good, but based on what they've shown me over the last couple of years, you only can go by what you have seen. And what we have seen is a team that has underachieved. And Chris, I get it, man. You want their respect, but respect is earned, my friend. It is earned, my friend. So if they want respect, you got to take it, man. You got to take it. You gotta earn that respect by going out there and doing what you need to do, by being unapologetically great and doing what it takes to get to the top. Nobody cares that you're trying hard. We go to work every day and we try hard, but guess what? Some of us are just making just enough to be broke. But guess what? If we don't pay those bills, our lights are getting cut off, our water is getting cut off, and you can go to the bill place. There's this old saying they used to say in my church too. They say Amazing Grace don't pay the light bill. You can go there and sing Amazing Grace, but they'll probably help you sing it, but you still gonna owe them money. Nobody cares if you're trying hard. Well, man, they are doing the best they can. So is everybody else on here. I guarantee you, if I guarantee in the chat, who's doing the best they can right now? I'm doing the best I can, trying to give you great content. When I leave here, I'm trying to be the best husband I can be. I'm trying to be the best father I can be. I'm trying to be the best son I can be. Shouts out to my big brother up in here. I'm trying to be the best brother I can be. I'm always trying hard. But nobody cares at the end of the day. Like, people care about results. That's just the breaks. Corey White says, while plumbers, electricians, and construction workers get paid nothing, who keeps society running? So what? Is this Corey White 694 or is this Corey White another Corey White? Because if this the Corey White, we got some stuff to talk about, man. Because you didn't misconstrue my words here, so we need to have a conversation. Has Kamara ever been at OTAs? Alvin will be ready. I'm confident. That AK has spoken with Clint. Well, look, I ain't got no problem with Alvin Kamara. We know that Alvin Kamara gonna come in the best shape. He gonna come in with the right mind frame, ready to work. I have no issue with Alvin Kamara. Yeah, it's OTAs, but that's my quarterback. Emma Terrell on voice. Yeah. I'm not sure what quarterback we talking about. Said, has the clown show called in yet? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see. Just a man in James Brown voice. Best fan I can be. Exactly. Got to be the best fan you can be. But once again, you can be the best, but it's about results. I'm thinking us and Tampa again to battle it out. I mean, I can see that. I can see the Falcons being better. You know, J Live says, don't run out, TJ. He's talking about Hayner. Oh, look, no, J Live, you already know, man. Like, I ain't got no issue with no Jake Hayner. I like Jake Hayner. I like Jake Hayner a lot. Would not bother me if he was the number 2 quarterback of the team. You know, I like Spencer Rattler's upside. But I already said, like, you got some people out here anointing this man with holy oil right now. You know, 2:00 BET. God, for $29.99, I'll give you some of this Spencer Rattler holy water. Nah, I'm good on that right now. The holy water gonna have to wait, man. And $29.99 gonna stay in my pocket. Leave that boy in the oven. He ain't ready yet. He ain't ready. But I mean, I already knew that. Like, I never said that, man, Spencer Rattler should start. Like, never. I feel like he needs some time. Key said TJ checking temps tonight. Man, look, I told y'all, man, I want the smoke. I want people to stand on business. I'm standing on business. That's all I want to know. I don't care about people's opinion. But one thing you ain't going to do, you ain't going to misconstrue my words to try to validate your opinion. That's when I got a problem. That's when I got the problem. Like, if you're going to quote me, make sure you quote me correctly. Put some respect on my damn name. Supporting whoever they get off course. I would like a Stroud or Mahomes, but we have to support who we got. Yep, I agree with that. I don't think it's that bad. Look, Derek Carr isn't the worst quarterback in the league. I think a lot of people soured on Derek Carr because of the whole personality thing. When you see Drew Brees just be the epitome of a leader, the epitome of a human, like basically just ingratiating himself in a culture, everybody just fell in love with Drew. Drew can go in any restaurant in New Orleans and eat for free. Drew Brees can walk out in the middle of the night and they can have a shootout. People will probably stop shooting because Drew Brees walking down the street. My bad, Drew. Hey, dog, let me put my AK up real quick. That's the type of respect that man have. When you go from that to Derek Carr, who to me looked the part, but when people start peeling back the layers, and I'm not saying this, I'm not saying this, that he is this way. I want to make sure I make this clear. I'm not saying that. But from the temperature of the Who Dat Nation and how they have been talking with me and the comments that were made, a lot of people feel like he's disingenuous. He's borderline politicky. He's saying the right things and trying to do the right things because he wants everybody to like him versus it just being his natural personality. I don't know that's true or not. I like to think that the guy is genuine, but a lot of people feel like it can come off as being disingenuous. And I think that's what soured Derek Carr. It wasn't so much the play. Like, the offensive line was terrible. Like, it was not very good. And then you combine the fact that he kept on going out there when he clearly shouldn't have. I feel like that kind of added to it as well, because when you're hurt and you're not able to do a lot of things, but you're still out there, a lot of people aren't looking at the fact that you're hurt. They're looking at the fact that you are available. And you may have been limited, and you may have had some issues. But people are going to evaluate you based on what they see. And what they saw was a quarterback that wasn't very good. And then you got towards the end of the season, the play started to get a little bit better. But, there's a question. Was he getting better, or was the competition just that inferior? We'll see. So that's the issue that I think people had. But man, man, if you're a franchise quarterback, you got to be that shaking hands, kissing babies type guy. But we would prefer that you really want to kiss this baby and really want to shake my hand. Not kissing my baby and then all of a sudden you're going for the CarMax or something like that, or the Blistex, or shaking my hand and then, yeah, thank you, and then turning around and getting the hand sanitizer. Like, people want to feel like you're genuine about it. Like I said, I would like to believe that he's being genuine. I like to believe that. That's why, I say it can come off and be perceived as is being disingenuous. I don't know. But, I would like to think so. I mean, everything about him, as far as like the things that you see, behind the scenes, I mean, he's really, he really family oriented, God fearing, but like I said, it's one thing about wanting to do the right thing versus, acting like you want to do the right thing. J Live, if we're going by OTAs, your favorite quarterback Carr went 8 for 8 and looked sharp. So what you say of that? Look, I like it. I'm not praying for no quarterback downfall so I can feel right. I'm serious. If the starting quarterback, Derek Carr, looking great, good. I want to see this team win. I don't care. I'm not praying that he throws an interception and be like, man, you see what he did? That's why he need to get benched. Nah, bro. Roll. Go 8 for 8. Go 10 for 10. Go 15 for 15, God dug it. I ain't trying to prey on no man's downfall. I'm not looking at Derek Carr games and hoping that he throws the ball into the stands and hit a fan and it's just so egregious that they bench him. I want to see this guy perform at the high level because he is the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. So I don't care who it is. Whoever in the game, that's my favorite quarterback at the time. Have many people watch Carr on Green Light Podcast with Chris Long? I have not. I have not. Corey Jack said, my boy TJ back. Yeah, man, look. I ain't never went nowhere, man. I ain't going nowhere. I just said before, man, I'm just tired of the disrespect, right? Your boy put a lot of work in, a lot of grinding in, give good content. Then you got people up in here too scared and ain't got the balls to call the show and then want to try to go at me. They telling me that I be stealing people content, like your boy ain't creative, like I gotta go watch other people's stuff in order for me to have a show. Man, bump all that. There's a lot of things that been implemented on other podcasts that came from me. But everybody looking at it like it was Elvis Presley. Y'all remember like back in the day, with Lil Richard he was making, these different songs and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden you hear, the white bread version on the radio because somebody was at the chitlin circuit and they stealing his style and flow. Nah, bruh. They gonna put respect on my name. You ain't gotta like me, but you gonna respect the hell out of me. That's all I gotta say. Like that's all I gotta say. I feel the disrespect every time I'm saying something. Oh, you heard that from? Nah, I ain't hear that from nobody. Your boy just like that, and y'all gonna put some respect on my name. And if you're not, then I'm gonna show you why you should respect me. Carr is good. He's not average. He can definitely lead a team like the Saints to the playoffs. I agree with that. I agree. I think that you need some things around him, Warrior. I think you need some things around him. I think a good running game, solid offensive line. So because sometimes your boy can get a little bit of happy feet, especially when he start feeling the pressure early in the game. You put a decent, solid defense around him, get the ball back to him. I think they can win some football games, man. I wonder how many fans have Carr jerseys. I'm pretty sure quite a few fans got it. I'm pretty sure a lot of Saints fans got it. Absolutely, TJ. I'm not picking sides or trying to create narratives for my favorite player. I want all of them to succeed because they are a part of our team. That's all I'm saying, Jeff. That's all I'm saying, cousin Jeff. Shouts out to Jeff Johnson. Y'all remember Jeff Johnson from BET? Everybody, every time something happened, something serious go down, everybody wanted to hear from cousin Jeff, man. Shouts out to you, Jeff, man. Appreciate you for being here. Hurricane Mike says, I have a Derek Carr jersey. Well, like I said, man, look, it's not like we talking about Stoney Case or Scott Mitchell or Steve DeBerg or something. Like, the dude has some credibility in the league. Is he like elite as a quarterback? No, but he's not the worst. CBS had him ranked 26. I do not believe. I think, he's top 15. Depending on the season, he can be top 10. There's something there. There's some meat on the bone. I don't want to just completely just poo-poo on the guy because, some of the things that transpired. But, he's decent. Derek Carr is selfish. He only happy right now because everyone has to learn a new offense like he did last year. And he's like, now you see what I was going through. He's a bit. Well, look, I'm not going to go that far, J Live. I don't know about them being, that. But I will say that some people, feel like, Derek Carr, once again, goes back to the biggest issue that Saints fans had with him. And this is me saying things that people have called the show about and have commented in the chat about. And that is that they feel like some of the things that he does and say are disingenuous. He just says them just because it's the right thing to say and the right thing to do. As far as, him, having to learn a new offense like everybody else, I can see why, maybe I look at it from a different perspective here, J Live. I feel like it makes him feel more empowered to be a leader, right? Because you had guys who already knew the offense that Derek Carr was going into, right? They had that a few years under their belt. Michael Thomas had it since he was in the league. Chris Olave had it for a few years. So did Shaheed. So did Alvin. So you had a lot of guys that already had a insurmountable learning curve over you at that particular time. They actually they know it like the back of their hand. You're actually trying to develop the concept. So for that, I feel like maybe you felt less empowered because those guys knew more than you. But now it's like you're on an equal playing field. And because of that, you feel like you're more empowered to kind of step in because you're like, well, you don't know, I don't know either. So we're both on the same playing field. So I can tell you blah, 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 blah. Right. So maybe he feels like to a certain extent, he got a little bit of his power back, a power that he developed over the course of time when he was in Vegas. So maybe from that particular standpoint, he does feel better because he's more empowered because everybody's on an equal playing field. Let's see. TJ, bro, you good at what you do, bro. You know that. Well, Corey, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. It says if we do have a good year, hopefully they can find a way to keep Clint. If they have a good year to a point where that's a top 5 offense, he gone. My proof is my 38 years of watching my Saints. Yeah, let's see. Who that? Jerry, absolutely. Hurricane Mike said that's not proof. TJ, I got your back every day. I know you do, Jerry. I appreciate that. Don't do that, TJ. The offense can be great, and Derek Carr is going to find a way to mess it up. Look, J Live, look, I get it, man. I get it. I completely understand. But I will say this, like, I don't know what the hell going on, man. Like, I don't know. Like, we all I can do is go by what I see. You know, all I can do is go by what's going on right now. And some people prefer to, be ahead of the curve, and some people, like to kind of sit back and let things develop. All I'm saying is the guy's been in the league for quite some time, and he's not the worst quarterback in the world. He's not the worst quarterback. It's not. I'm not one of those fans that feel like the Saints have absolutely no hope because Derek Carr is the quarterback. I'm just not. Like, I think that he has enough talent. I don't think that they can win like solely because of him. Like, I don't think that he is put team on back, lean on me. Like, I don't think he's that. But if you incorporate things around him, they can find success. It's not like, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Oh, please don't give it to Derek. It's not that, but I get what you're saying, but if you put a supporting cast around him, it's like Seinfeld, right? I like Seinfeld. I look at it like behind the scenes stuff, and they talked about the development of Jerry Seinfeld, and they said, Jerry was a comedian. He wasn't a strong actor. So what did they do? They put Jason Alexander around him. They put Julie Louis-Dreyfus around him. They put Michael Richards around him, like strong, stage, classically trained actors, right? And the thing that he lacks, they made it better. Like they were able to kind of, make him look better. And I feel like, Derek Carr is a little bit of the Jerry Seinfeld. But of course, if you put some strong, a strong cast around him, you'll have some success. So, like I said, I don't think he's god awful. I don't think he's god awful at all. Exactly what I'm talking about. J Live creating narratives so he can pump up Hainer. Look, man, I ain't got no problem with Hainer. I hope that Hainer is successful. What is your percentage we can land Simmons? I think it's low now. I wouldn't hitch my wagon to that. I wouldn't hitch my wagon to that, folks. I feel bad for Justin Simmons. Great safety. But the running back in a safety position, the NFL has no love for those guys. Someone tell Carr the battle isn't in the locker room, says Thomas. Or hopefully they understand that this season. The Jets wanted to sign Derek Carr. I wish they did. Aaron Rodgers in the Saints jersey, oh my God. And then he would have tore his Achilles after 4 plays. At least Derek played all games last season, for better or for worse. Come in with no expectations and let the chip fall where they may. Exactly. And it's a good spot to be in. You got to be honest, man. Like those years where you get upset, even though I would, man, but I would trade with any team in a minute to have those days when we just up here question how many games the Saints going to win and will the Saints make the Super Bowl, let alone like win double-digit games. Like that's what we was talking about. We went from that. Like Jamie Foxx said, from sugar to ish real quick. Like, God dog, man. Like, what happened? But I wouldn't trade that for the world, but it's these low expectations right now. And because the expectation is so low, it's like your blood pressure ain't really high. I'm pretty sure a lot of us had some really good physicals because we about to let this T stress us out. Like we kind of feel the same way Pammy do. Like let the chips fall where they may. And whatever happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Says all I wanted for the Saints is to find a real head coach soon. I think it's Kubiak, but it's just not DA, not now, not after a playoff win or two, not ever. Lewis, look, I'm going to tell you like this. If Clint Kubiak knocks it out the park, Dennis Allen ain't going anywhere. So strap in, folks. As far as if it doesn't work out with Dennis Allen, Clint Kubiak is just stepping in. I'm not for that. Like I'm being real. I'm not just for just emphatically appointing this guy as a head coach because that's how we got in this position in the first place, folks. That's how we got in this position because the Saints decided to go with a succession plan instead of like going out and outsourcing. Like sometimes, man, you just got to blow it up. Like, and got to respect the era and honor the days of yesteryear, but move on. Now, I'm not saying like give this dude a shot, especially if the offense looking good and, the team seems like they clicking on all cylinders. I'm not saying like not have him in that number. But I am saying go out there and really and do your due diligence to try to find the right guy. If it's Clint Kubiak and you find that it's Clint Kubiak, then cool. But don't just go out here and say, well, Dennis, he's gone. It's all yours, Clint. No. Because once again, that is how you got into this situation in the first place. You go out there and you interview Ben Johnson. You go out there and you interview Bobby Slowick. You go out there and you interview some of these other hotshot offensive minders or defensive minded, if that's what you want to go at again. That's what you do. You don't just give a guy a job because, oh man, he was really looking good on that side of the ball. Nah. Go out there and do your due diligence. Like that's the reason why, the Saints are in this position right now. Because they rather elevate guys and all that kind of stuff, which is great. Like that means that you're doing the right thing, but sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes organizations do that based out of fear because they don't want somebody else to come in and change things, even though things need to be changed. Do you think we bring someone in to replace Tano? Man, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around them, I'm sorry, man. Like, it's not like we talking about Myles Garrett or something. Like, Tano Passanio had 3 sacks. And this is what I found very, very funny. He had 3.5 sacks last season. And out of those 3 sacks, it happened in one game. He had 3 sacks against Tommy DeVito with the New York Football Giants. Because I went back and I took a look at it, and I was like, he had 3.5 sacks. He was second on the team in sacks. So I went back and I looked at his stats. I'm like, he had 3 sacks in one game. So that means all the other games that he played in, he did virtually nothing. He had a Marcus Davenport type season. So once again, I have nothing against Tano Passanio. He's a alternate guy, right? You know what I'm saying? He's just kind of a guy that you move around a little bit. But if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around, does it make a sound? If Tano Passanio, and God bless that brother, I don't want him to be hurt, but if he tears his Achilles and, I don't know, man. I think it's next man up right here. This is a great opportunity for somebody else to step up. So at the end of the day, no, no. Let's see, 225 Boxing percent says smiling face with horns. Thank you very much for the 99 cent. Now I can get that Whopper Jr. that I always wanted. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I just missed those days of going to the packed out Champion Square in January feeling like we could beat the world. Yeah, man. Now they can't beat traffic. I'm not going to lie. This new Dennis Allen energy I'm feeling, it seems like weight off his shoulders. Well, look, I like the energy that I'm seeing. Is it manufactured? I don't know. But If he can keep that, and maybe it's the fact that he's starting to feel like the team is his. I mean, you basically got the keys to the kingdom. You already got this unwavering trust from the Saints trust, so I mean, you can go up in there and go for broke. I mean, what do you have to lose? Except your job. Man, I had a headache so bad 2 seasons over the Saints. I promise, Heavenly Father, I would not get that upset again ever. Well, no need to get upset about the Saints. I'm too blessed to be stressed, right? I already know what the team is. I know what they is. I know what they represent. Saints went 6-6 against teams picking top 10 in the past draft. Other wins was against the Colts, pick 15, Bucks, pick 26. Thank you for that, Key. In other words, the Saints look good against bad teams. The Saints not spending big money on free agents this year. They trying to get more responsible with the cap. That's why they signing dudes to 1-year contracts. I'm not mad at that. My expectation for the team is extremely low. So if they fall short of the goal, as long as you're trying to work towards getting yourself out of the situation that you dug yourself in, maybe, it's going to take a year in order for you to kind of be a true player going into 2025. So with that, I'm not mad at that at all. Who that TJ says Hoodie, man. Shouts out to Hoodie. Shouts out to Hoodie, man. He always good to see my brother up in here. Shouts out to him. He was on No Cap show earlier, not too long ago, man. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to No Cap channel and check out the interview that Hoodie did with No Cap. I'm always gonna support my brothers, that's out here working hard and grinding, and giving you all great Saints content. So make sure y'all go to youtube.com, search No Cap, No Filter. Make sure y'all support my guys, subscribe to his channel. Works really hard and really passionate about what he do. And make sure you do the same thing for Hoodie Jew for those that have not. All right. Make sure y'all support these people, man. These guys work hard. Try to get y'all the best content possible. We be always talking about, man, they don't really be speaking our language, man. They don't be really, come on, man. You got some guys out here that's really trying to give you all the real deal Holyfield, not trying to sugarcoat, and we got to support them. That is how platforms are going to grow. That's how their content going to get out. Sometimes we got to counteract this BS, man. We got to counteract it. We got to support the ones that's out here true to you with no type of incentive, right? Got to do it, man. Support these brothers. Support these sisters out here that have these shows. They work hard and they have a lot of passion. It don't take much for you to see somebody passion. Give them a few minutes. Give them a listen. I guarantee you're gonna be subscribing after those few minutes. True, Jeffrey. No team ever does. Miami went through it for years after Dan Marino. Yeah, I mean it's hard to find that succession plan. It's hard, especially when you have an organization that's just trying to replicate what they once did and not looking at what they need to be and looking at the landscape. Like, I love Drew Brees. I really do, but the style of play from a Drew Brees, a Tom Brady, a Phillip Rivers, a Eli Manning, a Peyton Manning, that's kind of passé. Now, that intelligence that they had, like, you put that in any quarterback, you're going to win, but you got to be able to get that quarterback that can move around a little bit. I mean, these defensive players, they're fast, they're strong, they're big, right? Like, you got to be able to, to counteract that stuff. You can't be living in a stone age. You can't be on some Fred Flintstone, born in rubble type ish. You got to evolve with the times. Like, you can't be Mr. Slate around this thing. You can't be running your organization like you running, you got to be running Spacely Sprockets around this mug. You got to look at the future. That's a Hanna-Barbera reference, for all my young folk out there that probably ain't never seen the Jetsons, Flintstones. Please do. Great cartoons right there. J Live, thank you very much for the $10. Says, TJ, can I get your thoughts on what you think about Taysom Hill is going to look like this season? I think anything Taysom Hill does is going to be great. I have so much respect for Taysom Hill as a player. Never complains. Anything the team asks him to do, he does, and he does it with a smile on his face. So it's easy to root for a guy like that. I expect Taysom Hill to do whatever the team needs him to do. Do I think that it's just going to be some type of monster year? Probably not. But I really think that he's going to be productive in whatever role that they have him in. I just hope that whatever role they have him in, it keeps him happy and it keeps him satisfied, man. It seems like the conversation between he and Clint Kubiak was productive. So hopefully he has a game plan for him and he can go out there and knock it out the park. J Live with the big bucks, cash out me $20. Says Pammy. You bringing me back, TJ. Hey, yeah, man. Look, you already know, man. Those are some classic cartoons right there. Yeah, I'm pretty. I'm young enough to know about certain things in the modern era. But shouts out to my uncles. I always talk about them. My mom's youngest brother is only 5 years older than me. So, growing up with them, I feel like that's the reason I'm so well rounded because of them. And my mom's second youngest brother is 7. So I'm like, those guys taught me a lot. That's how I know about all the hip hop game and them watching, all the BT and, Tupac and Biggie beef and all that kind of stuff. I know a lot about that stuff because of them. My passion and love for wrestling came from them. A lot of the things that I know is because of those guys, and I appreciate it. We need more of our color looking out for one another. Yeah, man. I mean, look, we got to look out for one another, but not, not just from a color perspective, but, a working man's perspective. Like, seriously, man, like it's about elevating somebody. It ain't about being bitter. It ain't about being jealous of anybody. I like to live my life like, some people, they'll look out their window and see, 3 houses and they'll see 3 new cars and they'll say their neighbors got 3 new cars and they'll look at their car and be like, why my car, isn't brand new? But I like to look at it like I'm the guy that looks across the street. I see my 3 neighbors have 3 new cars. And I like to think that God is in the neighborhood. So to me, I want to see everybody grow. I feel like if we all grow together, then we'll become we'll have the infinity stones, like we'll be Thanos up in this thing. Because to me, I just feel like people just can't deny passion. When you're passionate about something, they can't deny it. And when it's not nefarious, people have no choice but to feel it. So I'm just saying, support these platforms, man. These guys work hard. They work hard. I'm positive and optimistic about the Saints, man. I love Winston and Carr, etc. But all I gotta say is, all I gotta say is who they. But all I gotta say is Carr can't succeed without Kubiak, and I don't know. It's a quarterback-friendly system, should be successful. Well, the system that they run it is not asking him to do much, Hoodie, and I think with that is the reason why. I feel like they're going to have levels of success, but they need that running game to be on and popping. That's all you need, Pammy. Let me know. Daddy got you. All right, man. I see you, big homie. Hoodie Jube, if Carr can't succeed this year, then this might be it for him as a starting quarterback. I low-key think he's going to have a good season, though. I think so, too, because once again, they're not asking him to do much. If you don't ask him to do much, I feel like, you can put this supporting cast around him and you can find success. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm gonna stroll up a little bit more, see if I missed a few people, give them a little bit of some time. This was crazy. First game of the season, Aaron Rodgers, 4 plays, hit, hurt, out for the year. Yep. Yeah, so at least you got a full season of Derek Carr. TJ, Alvin Kamara wrong for not being at OTAs if you had to answer yes or no. Look, I feel like this. It's voluntary. If I didn't feel like this guy, like the guys that were missing these OTAs, I've seen like play at a high level, like top 5, top 10 at their positions, then I'd be a little bit concerned. I'm not into all that. Like, people trying to make a big deal out of that. and I said this before, J Live. I mean, help me out with this. Maybe you've heard this, but I've never heard a team that struggles during the season say, well, if Marshawn Lattimore would have came to OTAs, or Alvin Kamara would have came to OTAs, then the Saints would have been on top. I ain't never heard that. I just feel like, to me, not showing up to OTAs at this stage, at this offseason, is like low-hanging fruit. It's almost like the rinse and repeat news cycle at the end of the season. Help me out with this. After the season is over, head coaching changes. You always got that coach, that minority coach that gets fired, and people like, they don't give minorities a chance. Then we have the Eric Bieniemy talk. Why doesn't Eric Bieniemy have a head coaching job? Give Eric Bieniemy a head coaching job. Then we have the NFL draft. We have the quarterback that everybody loves. A couple people hate him. Everybody debates him. The guy gets drafted first overall anyway. Then all of a sudden we move on to the organized team activities. Who showed up? Who didn't show up? Why didn't he show up? They're dealing with contract situations. It's like the same thing. Like, you can honestly go into the archives of Google and type in OTAs, and I guarantee you're going to be talking about the same stuff back in 2017, 2016. I just feel like at this point, it's lazy journalism. Like, it's lazy journalism. Like, and I get it. Like, at this stage, it's not much to talk about. It's not much to talk about, but it's like the same stuff. It's low-hanging journalism fruit here. Yo, TJ, my brother, what's going on? Tim, man. Oh, man, my boy Tim in the building. Shouts out to the Great White North, Canada. Shouts out to him, man. It's been a while, man. Hope you're doing great, buddy. Let's see, shoot your shot then, boy. Heck no. We know what to expect. Yeah, man, closed mouths don't get fed. Ain't that what they say? Alvin Kamara missing OTAs is not the same as Jamar Chase missing OTAs. Kamara is high character. Yeah, man, look, I know that Alvin Kamara going to come in shape. He going to come ready to work. And even with that, like, maybe he not out there, but I'm guaranteed he probably interacting with Clint Kubiak, and they talking and probably asking questions about the playbook and all that kind of stuff. Like, and I'm pretty sure he working out with his personal trainer and doing all the things he needs to do. It's a new age, man. These guys rather go out there and work on their own routine, rather have their own little routine that gets them in shape, that gets them motivated, that gets them ready for the season. A lot of these guys don't feel like they got to show up to OTAs for that. They feel like they're professional enough to come in some shape. But all in all, man, my final thoughts are very, very simple. If you want people to believe in you, you got to give them something to believe in. Derek Carr, Dennis Allen are the main reasons, in my opinion, why people aren't really buying into the Saints. But that Nation, that sports fans can change if the Saints go out there and they hit the ground running. Start off the season hot, beat some of these teams that they telling everybody that you're going to start off 1-4 because the only team you're going to beat is Carolina. Prove to the world that you're worth talking about. Like, we got to stop that, man. We can't, like, we going to be sounding like the Dallas Cowboys. Man, we got 6. Well, we got 5 Super Bowls. We got 5 Super Bowls, but you ain't been a Super Bowl since 95. We got 5 Super Bowls. I don't want to be that. I mean, what type of cowboy content would I have if I feel like my team is acting like the Cowboys? Then I couldn't talk to you and say how pathetic the Dallas Cowboy fans be looking when they talking like that. So I don't want to be like that. I'm not trying to hitch my wagon to what Drew Brees did back in from 2006 to 2020. It's a new season. It's a new day. If you want people to believe in what you're doing, you win football games. If Derek Carr wants people to believe that he's a top 15, top 10 quarterback, go out there and prove people wrong. If Dennis Allen wants people to believe that he's a competent coach, go out there and prove people wrong. It's just that simple. Nobody cares, once again, nobody cares that you're trying hard. All these teams in the league are trying hard. All of them are trying the best that they can to try to win football games. If you put these coaches on a polygraph test, owners on a polygraph test, I guarantee if you ask them the question, you want a Super Bowl more than anything, I guarantee you they'll say yes, and that thing wouldn't jump. Everybody wants to win, but nobody cares if you're trying hard. It's about results. What have you done for me lately? Not just a song. It's reality. If you're in a relationship and you don't do nothing to try to make that relationship work, probably not going to be in it for long. What have you done in order for people to talk about you, to celebrate you, to say that you're a contender? I mean, it seems like you're doing the right things. You're going in the right direction. I mean, but right now you're just sitting in the car in your driveway. So we're wondering, like, are you going to take this road right here, the one that everybody thinks that you're going to travel? Or are you going to take this road where, a lot of people don't travel, but you're going to get to your destination where you want to be? 2024 should be interesting, Who Dat Nation. I'm ready for the ride. So strap in, right? Right now, we just sitting in the driveway, hoping that we get to the destination we want. But thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Shouts out to everybody that were in the comments. Shouts out to everybody that's listening right now, no matter what platform you're on, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, Gumbo Pot, YouTube, X, wherever you're on. All right, wherever you're watching this, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Much love to you. Very, very simple. Before we get up out of here, just hope everybody hit that like button.
If you watching on your screen and you liking what you see, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. If you are passing by, this your very first time, hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Like and subscribe. Oh, I think they like me. Like and subscribe. Oh, I think they like me. If you watching on your screen and you liking what you see, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit subscribe button.
Hit that like and subscribe button. And for those that couldn't make it, they're getting a Corey White on. Chill it out. Comment after the show. You're not a Corey White, but shouts out to them after show boys.
Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show boys. Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys.
Shouts out to all the after show boys, after show girls out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Timothy J. Jones, and this is the State of the Saints podcast. And until next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.